So, as many of you guys know or don't know, um, yeah, I wanted to use this video to shine light in mental health, because we're all going through something. With that being said, I don't want this to be used as a, hey, if Chris went through it, I went through it, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing he used, because it's not a one key solves everything type. It's if you're having mental health issues or struggling with anything of sorts, please, by all means, get help. I am not qualified to give you help. I am not qualified for anything like that. And yeah, matter of fact, I'm gonna put the self-offing hotline right there, just in case you need to call it, or message me. I'm all ears if you ever need someone to talk to. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into it. So I decided to make this video mostly because I've been changing jobs in the past 2 years. Like, I don't know how to compare or to explain it, but I've been changing jobs constantly. And you're probably thinking, oh man, again? Yeah, I've been currently working at an insurance company. I'm not going to say the name of it just because. But it's been a great time, I like it for the most part. And yeah, I'm not going to throw shade or dirt or anything against them because it's been a great company. I've loved working for it, but at least it turned sour on my side when I first got signed up for getting my insurance license. That was never in my plans. Like initially, I got this job because of marketing reasons. And many of you guys know I'm a linguistics major. I don't do marketing, so I didn't want to graduate and then hop into the marketing world and then seeing what was out there. I was like, yo, if I could get a marketing internship, that's fire. Like, hell yeah, sign me up. And I had plans of going corporate with marketing, while they had plans of keeping me there, you know? But they wanted me to get my insurance license, and I wasn't really with it because I didn't spend 4 years in college, or 3.5, whatever you want to call it, to spend another 2 months studying for an exam. My plan was leave college, secure a good job. That's it. Well, if I don't go the comedy route. But yeah, and probably wondering, Chris, what does this have to do with anything? Nothing. Well, yes. This is what inspired me to make the video. So, essentially, the reason I'm leaving this job is because of that, and because it's been taking a toll on me mentally. Meaning that I'm not as happy as I once was. I'm not fully... Because there's different stages of depression, There's like offing yourself, and there's just not feeling happy or content with your daily activities. For my case, I started dreading every single day waking up. That sounds awfully sad. I started dreading every single day that I had to go to work. I didn't like it, And it started to take a toll on me. You guys can tell by the videos I've been making, where I make videos like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then I stop for like a whole month. And I tell people like, yo, I'm just taking a break, I've been busy. But realistically, I've been feeling under the weather a lot. And yeah, I've been going to therapy for it. So I wanted to shine light on it because a lot of people tend to think, oh, therapy bad, like therapy means I'm weak. Therapy means I'm this. No, it doesn't. Therapy is good for everyone. Therapy was made for a reason. And yeah, like there's no shame in it. I'm going to therapy. People know me as the funny guy, as the guy that's never stressed, the guy that doesn't care. But deep down, I'm a mess, Mentally, I'm a mess. And yeah, going to therapy isn't bad. Feeling under the weather is not bad. So it's okay to not be okay, as long as you take steps to be okay, And I don't want this to sound as a peppy speech like, oh yeah, go to therapy. Like, there's different ways, there's different outlets, meaning religion. There's millions of ways to get over it. And yeah, some people even use music. I know for me it was music. I once thought, wow, people can listen to music and be moved. That's so stupid, right? And then it hit me. Well, it didn't hit me. I listened. So I don't know how many people are familiar with Kendrick Lamar or not, but I listened to his album, the Mr. Miranda Big Steppers, and I listened to it the first time and I was like, damn, this is kind of deep. I was like, damn, damn. So I kind of stopped listening to it because I was like, bro, this is too depressing. This is too deep. This is too whatever. And yeah, summer came along. I didn't go out as much as I wanted to. I didn't do much of the things I like to do. I spent most of it inside. Not because of COVID, just I didn't do much, you know? And I started listening to that album. I was also going to his concert, so that played a big role in me learning the music and all that. So I started paying attention to his music, and I realized, wow, this guy and me go through the exact same thing. Obviously, I'm not rich and famous yet. Hopefully, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Um, yeah. So I started listening to the music, and I was like, wow, this guy is just like me. Because I noticed I would take my feelings and my depression out in spending. So I would spend money on everything I could, just cause. Whether I had the money for it or not, whether I had the credit balance for it or not, I would spend on it. Why? Because it was my way out. It was my way of seeking validation from others. And it took me a while to realize this because I've always said, I don't care what other people think. Screw them. But now I'm starting to realize I did. And that leads me to the point of changing jobs. So, also, I'm not following the script, just in case you guys think it's all over the place. It is. So, with that being said, this takes me to the next point. This generation and changing jobs. This generation is better known as the generation that always changes jobs, that always does this, that always does that. And I'm okay with it, to be honest. Like, do your thing. I don't really care. But at least for me personally, I've been changing jobs because I've always been the victim. In my eyes, I've always been the victim, and that's not always the case, you know. And I don't know why it is. I'm going to therapy to figure it out. But yeah, don't be afraid to change jobs if it's not what you like. But also take a step back and actually process what you're going through, process what you're being, your cards, process everything, you know? Because for me, I'm planning on leaving this job not because I'm the victim anymore, because I'm not the victim. It's just I went in with different thoughts. I wanted to go corporate. They wanted me to stay there, and I didn't. You know, different things. And don't get me wrong, insurance is a great outlet, great world to go into. It's really, what's the word? You'll make a lot of money if you really invest your time into it, but I'm not into that, you know? So, what am I trying to say? Um, Not that I owe anyone an explanation, but I just wanted to explain my time there and kind of give you guys a background as to what I did and why I started to get bored of it. So pretty much I would make calls every day. Well, every day that I worked, you know? So I was in charge of outreach or marketing. So I would just send text messages, calls, everything like that. And the first month was great because I was getting solid hours. Life was great, you know? At least I thought it was because I thought it was like, oh yeah, like life is great. I'm getting hours. I love this thing. But I soon came to realize that it wasn't what I thought it was. Why? Because I thought, oh, if I make calls, I make texts, I get sales, I get this, I get that, I'll get a raise soon. But that's not what was in their plans. What was in their plans was we're going to get this college student. And before I go on, there's nothing wrong with it. I completely see where they're coming from. And I'm extremely grateful that a job actually wanted me to stay for once, you know, that they don't want to let me go. I'm completely grateful for that. And I completely understand their position. It makes me sound arrogant. No, you guys get the point. So their job or their plan was to get a child, basically, because I'm still a kid, you know, train him, get him to get his license, and stick with them for the rest of the time. And if you know me, I'm not the kind of person to stick in an office, work a 9 to 5, you know, like, and then more based on what I was getting paid, I thought, oh, I'll get a pay raise soon. I would talk to my boss and he would be like, get your insurance license and we'll talk about a raise. And I'll be like, oh. So pretty much my in my eyes, it turned sour when insurance license came into play. Because now nothing could be talked about until I get my insurance license. So I was like, I don't want to do this, Because getting my insurance license basically meant sticking to it, how do I say it? Getting neck deep into it without planning on leaving. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be tied down at 21. I'm trying to live life. I'm trying to go out. And I knew this going into it, but I still wanted the experience. Why? Because once I graduate, I want to take a year off, or at least 6 months. Try out this whole comedy, YouTube and everything stuff. But yeah, that being said, I'm not done yet. But that started taking a toll in my mental health. Why? Because I started seeing... for me, it clicked where it was kind of like, yo, you're not worth it unless you have that insurance license. And after talking to my therapist, my parents and all that, I realized that's not true. And if a job makes you feel like that, that's not true. Trust me. I've worked retail for, I don't know, I started working when I was 16. I'm 21 now. Worked retail 5 years of my life. Trust me. If they tell you you're not worth it because of this or that, that is not true. Don't let a job define your self-worth. There's limits to it, like, don't go into a McDonald's and ask for $30 an hour for flipping burgers, But don't let them mistreat you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them tell you, no, you're only worth $14.50 when the minimum is $15. So know how to play your cards and know how to deal with it, Which goes to my next point of seeking validity. Don't seek validity in jobs, or at least retail jobs, And that's not me, like, shitting on retail jobs. Retail jobs are excellent. They get you out of a hurry. If you go full time with it, it gets you hours. It puts food on your table. It puts a roof over your head. But if you're a college student, seek out internships. Seek out internships. Why? Because those will help you in the long run. So then, yeah, that takes me to my next point, which is depression. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but if I get demonetized or if I get whatever, canceled or deleted or whatever the hell it is, it's fine. So, yeah. I know I said this already in the video, but seeking help is not for the weak. Seeking help is actually for the strong. Why? Because it takes serious balls to admit to someone that you're going to therapy, that you're not okay. And I better start crying. Anyway, yeah. This all started for me when I was... So I'm going to take you through a timeline. And I know this video is going to be a little longer. I'm okay with it. If you don't want to watch it, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind. But if I can help at least one person out there that's going through it, that literally makes this whole half an hour worth it, So it all started for me when I was... senior year of high school? When I started noticing severe signs... Well, not severe, but signs of it. And this is something that runs in my family, so it wasn't even uncommon, And yeah, so it was kind of like my last semester. It was kind of like, damn, I'm really going into college. Like, I'm really doing this. And it was kind of like, I felt lost because it's just a Mexican kid going to a big-ass college, not knowing what to expect, because it's not like I could have just hit up someone, because I didn't know anyone, And my senior year was a blast, don't get me wrong. But it was towards the end of senior year, beginning of freshman year of college, where it all went downhill. So, pretty much what happened was, I went from being not going to say popular, because I wasn't popular. I was well known, I got along with everyone somewhat, It was more of a, hey, it's Chris, or I used to sell chips. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for that, for admitting that, but I sold chips. I was well known, okay, not popular. And I went from that to college where nobody knows you, nobody even acknowledges you, and that was tough for me on my ego, my mental health, because I was like, damn, I went from everybody's person to a nobody. So if you're a high school senior and you're about to make the change, don't let this discourage you, because college is not about being known. It's about what you know. And yeah, also in college, making friends with 30,000 people isn't gonna get you anywhere, because once you start struggling, that's where you see who the real people and who your real friends are, you know? So yeah, freshman year of college, I started talking to this girl. Fun fact, she DM'd me first, but that's besides the point. So I started talking to this girl. I was going all well. And then, as the dating chronicles go, I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it, but I messed up. She rejected me because she wasn't ready for a relationship. And I'm not going to say names because I ain't about that life. And yeah, she wasn't ready for a relationship. 2 weeks later, she got into one, and I was like, damn, that hit me hard because, I thought I was doing everything right, but it turns out I was doing everything wrong. And that's when I first tried the, how can I say this to not get banned? Spicy water, let's just call it that. Tried spicy water for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is horrible. It's horrible. But freshman year was when I started partying every single weekend. So I was unemployed, basically dropping out of school, basically developing an addiction to that. And I was like, you know what? I need to change. Because I was also going through depression at that time. Because, this girl I spent 4 or 5 months talking to just rejected me out of nowhere. And I was like, I did something wrong. So I was fighting addiction, depression, failing out of college. I was ready to drop out. Like, no kidding. I was about to drop out. I was on my way. Like, literally, I don't know how close. I was too close. I was already looking up how to drop out. When it hit me, I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what am I doing? I'm literally, not to be arrogant, but I was like, I'm smart. I got the tools to make it far. So I went to a high school teacher. I'm not going to say who. I talked to them and they were like, try linguistics. You're good at languages. Just give it a shot. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And I was like, all right, bet. So I switched over. It went well, considering I'm in my last year. About to graduate. Well, not about to, but I graduate in a couple months. So, yeah, I switched. At first, I was kind of iffy about it because I was like, bro, who cares about languages? It's like, But after a while, I learned to love it. I was like, bro, this is actually super interesting how language functions with the brain and scientifically and whatever. I'm not going to bore you guys with that stuff because I know most of you guys don't care. But yeah, that was my second semester, which was also when we went into lockdown, the pandemic and everything hit. So after that, I was chilling because I was like, I wasn't really going out that much my second semester. And then the pandemic hit, so it was kind of like, oh, well, there's no reason to go out anymore, like, unless you have to go buy groceries or everything. And that's when a lot of people started struggling mentally, and I get it. I completely do. It's hard to go from every day I'm going out to I could only go out once a week for groceries. So, with that being said, I got a job over the pandemic. I was unemployed for a year. So I quit my second semester, like 3/4 of the way through my senior year of high school. And I couldn't find a job until my sophomore year of college. So I spent a whole year unemployed. And that really got me on my feet, I started making money. Good money, actually. Well, no, not good money. I was making enough money to pay my own semesters. And that was crazy for me because I went from a broke college student who was surviving off gum and water. That sounds wrong. I had food at my house, but I would spend the whole day at college, so I wouldn't really have money to spend like that, I'd get like $20 a week. Anyways, I had money, just not. It wasn't anything illegal. So, yeah, I was surviving off gum and water. It was tough times, but it was, hey, your boy wanted an education, had to struggle through it. So I got this job, and it was like, bro, this is sick. Like once that first paycheck hit, I was like, bro, I'm rich. It was like $300, but I was like, I'm rich. And yeah, it went, not gonna lie, I loved my time there. It was amazing. And that's when the first problem started. Well, that was the second, third problem. Because I had quit the other, well, I quit the second job because of college. I wanted to devote my whole time to it. I quit the first job because I felt like a victim of a manager. I felt victim. I don't know what it's called, but whatever. And yeah, that happened. And then I got to this job and it all went well. I was balling and at work, not monetarily. I was doing really good. My managers love me. I love working there. It was fun. And then I got a call from another company, which is a company I had tried to work for years. And they were like, yo, you want to work here? And I was like, the hell I do? So, no, that's a lie. I was having problems with a manager at this workplace. I'm not going to say the names, but I was having problems. I felt like I was the victim once again. But I refused to acknowledge the problem, because I was like, how can me, someone that speaks so many languages and knows all this and goes to college and this and that, be the problem? Like, how can I always made myself smaller and always made myself the victim instead of reasoning things out. So I left this other job for this other place. And yeah, this place was going great. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I loved my coworkers. I loved everyone there. And I left because I was a dumbass. I might bleep that out. I don't know. I don't care. Anyways, I left because I was a dumbass. I was immature. I heard of a job, not an internship opportunity, quote unquote, but it was unpaid. So it was kind of like, should I take it? So I took it and I regretted it. After 2 weeks, it was unpaid. I was like, yo, can you start investing more time into this? I was like, you guys aren't even paying me. What do you mean? So, anyways, after a month, I was like, I'm done. And I spent a whole week just doing nothing. Anyway, sorry, I got a notification. So, I spent a whole week doing nothing, and I was like, I'm bored out of my mind. I played video games too much. So, I was like, you know what? I need to get back to working. So, I applied at the old place again, and I got called from that same place, but at a different branch or different location. So I took it because I was like, bro, I'll take it. I'll do like a couple months, then transfer back to over here. But, and this one I think I was the victim, but it doesn't matter for the story. So, pretty much I had a family event happen. I pulled my phone out to make sure everyone was okay. And I got a write down for it because they were like, you got your phone out. And I was like, well, it was an emergency. They were like, well, you could have talked to us. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to call you guys. I'm going to text you guys. Like, yo, I had a family emergency. Can I pull out my phone? I was like, no. So I was like, you know what? Nah, this is messed up. So that's when I got a call from another company that I've been trying to work at for God knows how long. I was 4 years? Approximately 4 years. Because as soon as I turned 16, I started applying there, and I never, ever, ever got a call back. And yeah, I'm going to ignore this place because this one was kind of, we already righted our wrongs, and I already know what happened and all that, but that's okay. So fast forward to this next job. Yeah, so I started working here. I loved it. I was in the sales floor. I was selling stuff. I was loving it. I used to I just had that connection. I had the personality, not to be arrogant or anything, but I had the personality to connect with clients and get sales because I was always I worked at a big mall, so it was kind of like every single place they would go to is like, oh, you need help with anything you need. So they would come to our store, and I would be like, hey man, these shoes over here, they would look mad nice on you. So I was just complimenting them and making fun of them in a friendly way. I was bantering them. There you go. So they would be trying shoes on, and I'd be like, damn, man, those shoes look great on you. I'd take them if I were you. I was like, matter of fact, I take that other color as well. And I would be generating sales. but that wouldn't reflect on my hours because I was only getting 4 hours, and I would ask for more, and they'd be like, "We don't got hours," but they would be giving all the other people more hours. So I was like, you know what, this ain't it. So I played the victim again, and I was like, they have something against me. They don't like me. So I left that place, and I got another job. And yes, it sounds bad. Yes, I know I've had like 30 jobs. I can't help it. This other place was good. It was pretty fun, not gonna lie. Because I already knew everyone there. But I don't know. Just the vibes weren't there, you know? So then I got called from this internship place, and it was like a refresher. It was amazing. It was like anything you could imagine there. And then that happened, what I explained previously in the video. Excuse me. And yeah. So that brings us to today. Because I already explained that job. That brings us to today. I'm not going to say I'm proud of what I've done. Well, I am proud because, I did what I had to get through and pay my tuition and everything. And I went from a kid that was failing out of college, miserable, who really had nothing going for him, to being a semester away from graduating. So moral of the story is, don't give up. Because many people think college isn't for them. That's perfectly fair. That's fine. I felt like that too for a while. But at least give it a shot, because you never know what it's like until you actually live through it. So with that being said, I don't want to discredit anyone that didn't go to college, and I don't want to discredit anyone that did go to college. But my point of view is, try it out. If you're young enough and don't have... Because that's what my parents tell me, because I'm like, once I finish college, I'm taking a year off because I'm trying to be a comedian, Because everyone tells me, Chris, you're so funny. So I'm like, might as well try it. Because I want to live my whole life thinking, what could have been, Because I'm not saying I'm the next Chris Rock or the next Kevin Hart or whatever, but I'm saying I don't want to live my whole life thinking I could have been and not knowing it, So, yeah, if you're young enough and if you don't have any dependents, if you're trying to live life, try it out, By all means. Hey, you never know. You might be the next... No, I'm not. I'm going to rethink that up. How can I say this? You can be the next Picasso, for example. You could be the next... What's a cool model? I don't know anymore. Hey, for all we know, you could be the next president of the United States, Just give it a try. If there's no downsides to it, just try your luck. You never know. It might be what you're looking for in life. So, after this super long video, I just wanted to say, yeah, don't use this as a medical diagnosis. I am not a medical professional or licensed professional in any way, shape, or form in order to be able to give you a diagnosis or to be able to assist you better. I am, however, open whenever. Doesn't matter if I have school the next day, work, if I have a wedding, I do not care. If you need someone to talk to, please reach out to me, to your friends, to whoever. But please don't ever feel like your voice is not heard, because that's the worst. Because it happened to me. I wasn't alone, but I felt lonely. And trust me, that's the worst feeling ever. Why? Because I'm about to start crying again. It's a tough place to be in. So literally, no strings attached. I don't expect anything. But if you need someone to talk to, I'm all ears. And trust me, I'll keep this 100% anonymous. I won't share it with anyone. But yeah, you need a helping hand, I'm more than willing to hear you out. And as you guys can tell, I didn't edit anything of this. I don't have any scripts. I don't know how to show you guys. Yeah, you guys can't see it. That was stupid. But yeah, hope at least one of you finds this helpful. Not entertaining, because that's horrible. Don't find other people's losses entertaining, please. But I hope at least one of you finds this helpful. I hope you reach out, You don't have to reach out to me. Reach out to someone you trust, or if you want to reach out to me because you think I'm funny and I could give great advice, feel free to do so. Now, granted, don't take my advice seriously. Like, take it, but don't take it too seriously. You know, like, if you're having relationship problems, I'm not the ideal person to come to. Now, I'll give you some advice. It might be funny, but I'm not the ideal person to come to because I've never dated anyone, so I wouldn't know. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Like this video, subscribe. Ya se me fue el rollo. And yeah, I'm also releasing a Dating Chronicles this week. Don't know when, don't know where. From my house. Don't know when, don't know what day, don't know what time. But I'll be releasing one soon. Because, yeah, now that we got out of now that we got this out of the way, I feel more comfortable. I feel like more connected to you guys. Even though I only get like 2 views per video, you know? But yeah. Hope you guys found this helpful. And yeah, if you need any life advice, I'm open almost 24/7. Not exactly, but most of the time I'm there to answer. Yeah. See you guys this week. Kind of. Not really. Well, I gotta step it up because final season's coming up, and I'm not studying for them, but final season coming up. All right, see y'all. Peace.